Hello guys, how's everybody doing there? What is going on? Niner Empire, how are you? Everybody on YouTube, all across the globe, Jimmy Garoppolo is officially a San Francisco 49er for the next 5 years, for the rest of his life. I told you guys that this was the greatest day in Niners history. You know, when the trade deadline was complete, when the San Francisco 49ers got Jimmy Garoppolo, I was the one saying that it was the greatest day in the history of 49er football, and it is. Jimmy Garoppolo, he's only making $500,000 more than Matthew Stafford each year, and hats off to John Lynch. A beautiful day to get the franchise quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo, and Jimmy officially loves San Francisco. He loves Kyle Shanahan, and he loves life in the Bay Area. The Niner Empire has been so kind to Jimmy, and Jimmy thus has committed to the Niner Empire. And like Jimmy Garoppolo, I am an adopted son of the Niner Empire. And I wanted to say congratulations to all of the brethren that is part of the Niner Empire. What a beautiful day it is to see Jimmy Garoppolo sign the dotted lines. And I'm going to go log in right now and read some comments. I have a sick video that I'm also going to put up alongside here of the stream of the podcast. So as I am doing that, I am editing it. And it is a beautiful, beautiful day to be a Niner fan. No, Jimmy Garoppolo was not signed for too much money. He was not. And watch this. I'm going to put up the Jimmy video right now because, in fact, Jimmy is much more important than I am on this show. But you guys, the Niner Empire, again, are Rover Sports. And I couldn't thank you guys enough for all of this support throughout the journey. And I think it's a beautiful day to have Jimmy Garoppolo signed to a big-time contract. Here we go. Jimmy G. Okay. Here we go. A nice 11-minute video that I'm going to be putting up here as well. And yeah, let me tell you guys, I mean, this is a totally awesome day for the Niners, for Jimmy G. And listen, this is a special day to be a Niner fan. Your future has been made. John Lynch has done it, and I am going to go right now and read some of your comments because you guys are awesome. Jabari is in the house. Yes, sir. The guarantee is not the start. And listen, you're absolutely right. So, you know what? Jesus is my king. I love the name. Let's go ahead right now and let's go on our good old friend Spock track, which is the ultimate free agent guideline of the National Football League. And let's go right now to the San Francisco 49ers and see how the Niners are officially doing now with the cap this year. So let's look at it because you have to equal $167 for this year. So this year, 2018, we have Garcon that is hitting $9.5 million, $9.2 million, which you don't exactly like. Jimmy Ward, I don't like that contract really. Let's really see what's going on with Jimmy Ward. I don't even know where the heck he is, but he's making a lot of money. Solomon Thomas is actually the fourth highest paid player on the team. He's only at $4 million. He's only at $5 million. Or he's at $6 million. Joe Staley, that I advocate staying, he's at $7 million. So Garcon is high. And Jimmy Ward, I think, yes, should leave. Boy, Zane Beatles is getting paid a shit ton of money. You can easily get rid of that dude. That dude is kind of trash. And you look at, it's just such a low cap. Holy shit. Let's see. In terms of cap space, boy. It is actually, it says $117 million of cap space. So let's look at the free agent class now to pair with Jimmy Garoppolo. I want to look at the free agents that we can pair here with Garoppolo. Again, I wanted to reiterate that it was an incredible job by the Niners. And you're right, $120 million. And yes, Ricardo, was that true that McDaniels was going to take that gig? I mean, there's so many crazy stories about Joshua McDaniels, and he was a complete prick to the Indianapolis Colts. So for all you guys right now watching on Periscope, you can hit up the YouTube channel, Rover Sports. I'm there answering questions, man. How you doing, Sean's Beard? What is going on, my friend? So yeah, I'm going to look up the free agents here, the free agent class. For Spock Track, that again is the best site to look at. So, and I'm also going to break down a little bit of the roster, okay? I'm going to break down the 49ers roster. So, you have at cornerback, you have Witherspoon, who's okay, and Dante Johnson sucks. So, looking at the draft, you can either, I don't know if Josh Jackson, maybe from Iowa, I'd maybe like that pick. What do you guys think, Josh Jackson from Iowa? That might be a pretty good selection. But looking here at the, let's look at the free agents, okay, in terms of cornerbacks. Would a free agent like Tremaine Johnson leave the Rams? That would be pretty freaking sick if he did. Here we go. Let's look at corners that you can get. I don't want Malcolm Butler. It was concerning that Bill Belichick cut his ass. So I don't know if I want Butler. Fuller is okay. Let's see. A lot of guys that I don't like past a certain level. D'Angelo Hall's too old. Justin Bethel is not that good from Arizona. Claiborne I don't want any part of. Prince Amukamara I don't want any part of. So you have Tremaine Johnson. That's the guy that is from the Rams, and he's actually a nice player. He's pretty good. DJ Hayden is okay. But that's the weak part of the team. You either get Tremaine Johnson or you look at, let me pull up a mock draft as well, okay? Let me look up a mock draft here, and I'll tell you the best cornerbacks in the draft, okay? So basically Fitzpatrick is kind of a safety. So right now a lot of guys have the Niners with Tremaine Edmonds from Virginia Tech. So when you look at Brock Hoyle, I don't know if he's going to be re-signed. You have Eli Harold, and I like Reuben Foster, obviously. I don't think that the NFL will suspend him for the weed incident. So I really like the defense, though. I like the defense overall. The offensive line definitely needs to bulk up. You have some guards that are free agents here. So you can look at maybe if Quentin Nelson slips to you, you can certainly look at that. I don't know what you guys would want. But listen, what I was going to say is Doug Peterson and this turnaround by the Philadelphia Eagles should inspire all of Niners fans to dream big. Carson Wentz and Jimmy Garoppolo are along the same trajectory in terms of their careers. And if I had a choice of Jimmy G or Carson Wentz, I would take Jimmy G. Out of any young player in the NFL to build a team around, even guys maybe like Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Rodgers would be a pretty close comparison, would be a pretty close bout, but Jimmy G is young, and Jimmy G has all the tools to be great. He made Kendrick Bourne great. He made Trent Taylor great, and Marquise Goodwin really was impacted by Garoppolo. Garoppolo makes a bad offensive line look better, and yes, Jed York is doing a very nice job of letting Kyle and John run the ship, and that's exactly what a great owner does. The owners that are overpowerful, like Jerry Jones and Dan Snyder, those are often not successful owners. And even Robert Kraft now is fucking with Bill Belichick, and he's the reason why the Niners are now in this great position. So I completely agree. I look at the Niners. I look at the job that Robert Saleh did at the end of the season. I want Reuben to continue to develop. Solomon Thomas, although he's not getting sacks, I think that he played great at the end of the season. I love how he stops the run. So you're going to need, I want to continue to see the development of, on the defensive line, DeForest Buckner. I want to see him continue to pan out. And you look at this defense, and with Jimmy Garoppolo, this is going to be a hell of a run here. Yeah, McCaskey of the Chicago Bears, absolutely. That family certainly has been turbulent. So, free agent wise, we can look at defense. We can look at a linebacker to replace Brock Coyle. And it says that Ruben's a Mike linebacker, but Roquan Smith would maybe be a great pick out of Georgia. I'm a pretty big fan of Roquan. Tremaine Edmonds is a little bit too raw for me. He's a little too young, so I would go Roquan if I were the Niners. I really like Roquan and Ruben and pair them together really well. So I really think that would be pretty damn fantastic. So I love the move from the San Francisco 49ers. I'm going to hit on a couple of other Niner topics. First, for Periscope, I wanted to, again, talk a little bit here about the NBA trade deadline real quick. I thought that with the NBA, the Cavs really, they kind of fucked themselves with the whole Isaiah Thomas trade. I said from the beginning that was a great move by the I said that was a hell of a move by the Boston Celtics, and I was correct. So basically, I say the Kyrie Irving trade, Danny Ainge again won today. But the Cavs got better. They got good players. I like Nance, and I like those other guys. But right here, let's talk more about the Niners, man. How are you doing, 1950 Mr. Universe? I'm telling you guys, I don't know about y'all. I'm a little sick already of this Eagles bandwagon talk. I'm a little sick of the Eagles bandwagon talk, and if my Giants don't help out, then San Francisco can certainly help out. The Cavs did get younger. Larry Nance is a fucking beast. Listen, Jordan Clarkson's a guy that I've been a big fan of for a long, long time. He's going to be tremendous. Rodney Hood's pretty damn good as well. So that's the trade deadline. I have to admit today, too, that as much as I hate the Eagles, everybody should watch Jason Kelce. He was the funniest today. He had an epic speech where he slammed all the haters. So Jason Kelce is the man. As much as I hate Philly, it's hard to deny Jason Kelce. So let's look a little bit at some more players for the San Francisco 49ers here. So we're looking at the cornerbacks. Let's look at some linebackers that can really help out the Niners, okay? We have Puzleski, who's a little bit older. But I don't really want Paul Puzleski. He's a little bit too old and probably going to be too much money. He's going to be 33 years old. Don't need that. Nigel Bradham, that's a damn good linebacker from Philadelphia. If you don't watch him play, he is a monster. He is fantastic, and he will tackle. So Nigel Bradham's a really good player that really should get paid. I think Bradham should make maybe $8 million. I mean, that's a really good player. Then you have Whitehead of Detroit, Kevin Minter. This is a decent linebacker class as well. So my favorites are Bradham, Whitehead, and Minter. Bradham might be the best among those. Nick Adams, hell yeah. Travis Kelce, or Jason Kelce, my man, he was absolutely incredible. He said, fuck you to so many people. This is Philly. No one likes us. No one likes us. We don't care. And that's exactly right. That's exactly fucking right. Jesus Christ, my hair looks pretty shitty. Let me fix it. But anyway, Jimmy Garoppolo to the Niners, man. What a move. I'm so glad that John Lynch took the assertive to put the baby to bed. And when you look at Jimmy Garoppolo, you know what's hilarious about Jimmy Garoppolo is that Kirk Cousins will make more money than Jimmy freaking Garoppolo. And for that, you applaud. You have $167 million. You have nobody. Pierre Garçon, you have nobody in the $10 million range. This is your time to strike right now. With Jimmy Young and everything, you saw what Doug Peterson did in his second year. There is no reason why Niners fans should not have sky-high expectations. Look at what Dan Quinn did in his second year. So now you have two coaches in the NFC that have won that division. One with Nick Foles, or won that conference. One with Nick Foles, and the other guy is Dan Quinn. So there is no reason why the Niners shouldn't have high expectations. I believe they should beat Seattle. I believe Seattle's a train wreck and getting old. Jared Goff, Jimmy Garoppolo's a lot better than Jared Goff, okay? Todd Gurley's a good player. That line is good out in L.A. But Tremaine Johnson's a free agent, and who knows if Wade Phillips is going to be there for a long time. The Rams are a decent team, but Jared Goff holds them back. So, I agree, Ricardo. You know, I believe that the Redskins have no idea what they're doing as well. Malcolm Butler and Allen Robinson, those are two guys that are controversial figures that I don't want to deal with. I certainly don't want Allen Robinson. He was a guy who was trashing Blake Bortles. You have Marquise Goodwin. In this upcoming draft, you can get Anthony Miller. This is a very deep wide receiver. It's kind of a deep wide receiver draft. You can get a guy like Anthony Miller out of Memphis in the third round of this draft, okay? So I don't want really any part of, no offense, Allen Robinson. I don't love paying guys a ton of money at the wide receiver position. That's just me. And also, Allen Robinson just got injured. So let's see what wide receivers you can get for the right price. Boy, it says Amendola's a free agent. That would be an interesting play to get Jimmy and Amendola back together if you can sign him for a reasonable contract. You see Landry here. I don't want Jarvis Landry. A lot of people are fans of Jarvis Landry. Sammy Watkins, too much money. Terrell Pryor, going to be too much money as well. It's a really shitty class for wide receivers. It's not that good of a class. So maybe Amendola's the other guy that I'd look at. But Nick, I think Kansas City, man, I think you guys are going to be the next great team. I love Patty Mahomes. And your defense, you guys need a ton of help with Bob Sutton on the defensive side of the football, though. But Mahomes, Kelsey, Tyreek Hill, that is going to be great. Could Calvin Ridley go at number 9 for the San Francisco 49ers at 9 or 10? I would probably get Roquan Smith. He's more of a home run. He's more of a guaranteed lock than a wide receiver. I would get Roquan and Reuben Foster and pair those guys together. I would really like that because there's no cornerback like the Isaiah Oliver kid out of Colorado. If you're going to, I'd say either Josh Jackson, Roquan Smith, and that's who I'd go. I'd go one of those two guys. Okay? Yes. Cortland Sutton's an interesting prospect. I actually like Sutton more than I like Calvin Ridley. Michael Gallup from Colorado State. Interesting kid, interesting kid, interesting kid. He's climbing draft boards. He's pretty decent. He seems like a nice enough guy. So, yes, I like Roquan Smith as well. It's a good linebacker class. You can certainly get linebackers. But offensive line needs to be addressed as well. You look at the guards here, you know, Tomlinson's an okay player, but maybe another tackle. If you don't like Darrell Williams, that's another tackle. Let's look at the Super Bowl odds for next year. That was really interesting to me to see these odds for the 2018 Super Bowl. So here we go, okay? And I wish we could do NFC odds as well. So we have the Saints at plus 1,800. We have the Kansas City Chiefs are way down at plus 3,000. That's way too low. Kansas City is personally my favorite team in the AFC. The Tennessee Titans at plus 5,000 is a great odds. The Giants and the Tennessee Titans, those guys are going over. Okay, let's see where San Francisco is on this list. The Niners are, in fact, ahead of the LA Rams. and ahead of the Saints. They are ahead of Dallas, ahead of Atlanta. They are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They are the sixth team. The sixth team in the NFL. They are number 6 in the NFL right now in these odds out of OddsShark. It's pretty amazing. I'm getting a number 6 somewhere. So, Josh Jackson, I like the kid, Nick. I like Josh Jackson, long kid. I want to see him if he can cover more. He was only a 3-star guy. Does Josh Jackson, when you listen to his interviews, he's a nice kid. I think Josh Jackson has a ton of potential as well. And listen, the kid out of Ohio State, he didn't play in the bowl game either, the Denzel Ward kid. So, I think Josh Jackson would match the culture better. Quentin Nelson is not going to get up to that pick. If he's there at 9, it's a no-brainer. You obviously take him. So, so looking at the odds as well, though, guys, let's look here. We have the Jacksonville Jaguars at plus 1,800. I don't love it. I love Tennessee. I like Carolina and the Giants. Those are some sleeper teams there. Let's look at the rest of the mock draft before we head out. But it's looking really, really good right now. So in the second round, I believe the Niners in the second round are going to be, oh boy, I think the Niners should have some nice picks in the second round. It says it's 59 in the second round. I'm not sure why the Niners are not at 10, but because of trades or whatever. They get a Saints pick, and they have the Niners taking this MJ Stewart from North Carolina, who's not a terrible player. But I think that you can get some corners deeper in the draft. I don't know what to do with Garcon. I really don't want him back. I would cut Garcon. Yeah, Nick, I think that San Francisco, though, you look at the Eagles, they had Nelson Aguilar. They didn't have great offensive line guys. They had LeGarrette Blount. The Niners' offense with Marquise Goodwin. Marquise is going to be a number 1 receiver. They're going to look, you have George Kittle and Selleck. That's great for the tight end position. You have Carlos Hyde that you might resign for a decent price. Matt Breda is a hell of a backup. You have a very deep receiving core, meaning very good slot receivers. So the Niners are going to probably add a receiver in the top 2 rounds, either Cortland Sutton. If he gets somewhere in the second round, they can trade up for him. Or they can get Anthony Miller. There's a lot of good wide receiver talent in this draft. Like Michael Gallup was just mentioned by somebody. And in round 3, let me look at some of the receivers I really like. In fact, a very good linebacker to watch out for in this class is Josie Jewell from Iowa. That guy, I'd either want the Giants to get or the 49ers to get him, because Josie Jewell is a complete stud, and he was great in the Big Ten Conference. So in round 4, that is where we have guys like Deshaun Hamilton is a very good slot receiver. Anthony Miller will charge up boards. Marcel Aitman from Oklahoma State's an option. The Niners can also get a big-bodied Allen Lazard, so they could certainly address the wide receiver in the upcoming draft. So, yes, and Nick as well, you could get Kerryon Johnson, John Kelly, so many guys. So, Braden, how are you, my friend? How is everybody doing? It is a wonderful, wonderful day to be a San Francisco Niners fan. I told people beforehand that Jimmy Garoppolo, that this trade was going to be great, and even he has exceeded expectations. He is going to take the Niners to a special place, and John Lynch, again, is on the uptake, and yeah. I think it was a great day for Niner fans. So with that, guys, thanks so much for hanging with. I'll have more podcasts the next couple of days. Got this new ball from the Super Bowl, and I hope either the Niners or Giants can get there next year, maybe Kansas City. I think the race to Atlanta is going to be great, and I can't wait for the season to start. Jimmy G is undefeated. Jimmy G, along the East Coast, I talk to people here, they don't understand the power of Garoppolo yet, but the world will see Jimmy Garoppolo. The world will see him, and they will see him front and center as the Niners will likely win the NFC West and the Niners will be a Super Bowl contender this year with Kyle just rising into his prime in his second season. That is the season where coaches separate themselves amongst the pack. We will see you guys. Enjoy this one, Niner Empire. I know you love Jimmy, and now rest assured Jimmy is a Niner, and you can go on and celebrate because your franchise quarterback is figured out. Now fix all the gaps, fix the linebacker, get a cornerback, and the Niners, with some touch-ups, will be ready to rock in 2018. Thanks again, guys, for chilling. Take care. Have a great one.